Hey everybody. So I've wanted to make a video about henna for a while now. Excuse my voice, I'm coming down with a cold, so I have a cough drop in my mouth just to help keep it, from drying out. But I really wanted to make this video because I've noticed that more and more people are starting to get onto henna, and a lot of them are also shying away from it because they think it's a bit labor intensive, and there's a lot that goes on with it, and they don't have that a good experience with it. And I'm not gonna lie to you, henna is a labor intensive process, but I think the benefits outweigh the cons of it. So I just wanted to share with you guys some tips that I've learned along the way. I'm not an expert on henna whatsoever. I just wanted to share what I've learned through trial and error since I've been using henna for a while now. So I wrote some things down so I wouldn't forget what I wanted to say to you. So if you see me reading down, that's why. So I'm going to start with when you're buying your henna. Now, some people physically buy their henna, others order them online, but the consistency of your henna powder can make a difference when you're putting it on. If you physically buy your henna and you're able to buy your henna in a box where you can actually see your powder like this, it's a good idea to do so. I don't think that they will object. The people at the store, they usually don't object to you just taking a look, because this is sealed, so it's not like you're opening it up. Because if your henna is not properly milled, it can have a lot of particles in it, like twigs and branches and things that can get tangled up in your hair, and it can make it quite difficult once you're washing it out for you to untangle your hair. Now, if you're buying your henna in this type of container like this, or you're ordering it online where you can't see the consistency of your powder, what you can do is, once you open it up and you find that it does have some particles and things in it, you can actually get a colander, because the ones that are properly milled are just the consistency of like a flour. So you can get like a regular colander that you use in your kitchen, and you can sort of sift it, and then that will get rid of those large particles so that they won't get tangled up in your hair. Alright? Now, as far as mixing your henna is concerned, you want to try to use warm to hot water in your henna to avoid getting a lot of lumps in your when you're mixing it in your mixture. I noticed that when you use water that's not warm to hot, it creates a lot of lumps, and then you're going to have a very hard time getting those lumps to disintegrate. So I usually mix my henna with some sort of tea infusion. So that will be a hot, or I'll let it cool to a bit of, warm, lukewarm type of thing. Alright, don't make it too runny, because the mess will be greater if you make it runny. You want it like sort of a yogurt type consistency, like thick like yogurt. Okay, and if you let it sit overnight, the more that the henna, the color in the henna will bloom for you. Okay, if that's your objective, depending on what kind of result you're looking for in your henna, if you're doing it for color or if you're doing it for just conditioning or strengthening treatment. It's what you would want to do with it. If you add acid to your henna, sort of like lemon juice, or maybe even vinegar, like white vinegar, that kind of helps to enhance the intensity of the color that you're looking to get. Now, if you're looking for strengthening treatment or conditioning treatment, there's a lot of other tea infusions that you can add to it that will help with the conditioning and the strengthening. My favorite to add on to it is the hibiscus flowers. Okay, and they're called Flor de Jamaica in Spanish. And these are something that is used mostly in Mexican cuisine. I know that it's used in a lot of other cultures, but the most I've heard of is in Mexico. And this is actually a Mexican brand of foods and spices. But these leaves, they're flower petals actually. And what I do is I steep them in hot water like you would a tea or any tea infusion. And then I add this to my henna as the water to mix it. Alright, and that kind of helps with the conditioning and enhances the conditioning treatment, because hibiscus flower actually is good for your hair as a treatment, as a conditioning treatment. But it also helps with color. If you wanted to take the flowers instead of infusing them, since they're pretty dry, you can actually mill them into a powder and add that powder to the henna, and that also helps with conditioning and also with color. Alright, other things that you can add are like chamomile tea, cinnamon tea, things like that. So if you did some research on some websites, you'll find that there's a lot of combinations that you can use to enhance your henna benefits. Alright, so now we're moving on to the application. As far as avoiding getting a lot of staining around your hairline or anywhere else actually, you want to make sure that you wear gloves when you're applying your henna, and you want to make sure that you don't have to, but it is a good idea to put a bit of petroleum jelly around your edges, so that helps with the henna not staining your forehead. If it does get on your forehead, it is going to stain, and the stain takes quite a while for it to come off, maybe a few days. So petroleum jelly around the edges seems to work for me. Also, you want to try to wear any old t-shirts or clothing that you have, because if it gets in your clothes will be ruined. As far as the area where you're working on, you want to remove anything that you don't want it to get stained. If you can cover it up with like old garbage bags, you know, or like I guess old supermarket bags or garbage bags that you can just line everything up. If you're doing it in your bathroom and you have any rugs on the floor, you want to remove those as well, because it will stain anything that it falls on. Alright, now when I'm applying my henna, you can either use one of these applicator brushes, or you can apply by hand. I prefer to apply it by hand just because I feel I have more control over where I'm applying the henna, and also it's a little faster to do it by hand than with the applicator brush. I like to, sometimes some people will part their hair in different sections to apply the henna. I think that's also a good idea, but I just apply the henna onto my hair without parting it. Again, it's just a quicker process for me. The henna is very thick, and you want to be applying a good amount, so it will get into all your hair whether you part it or not. And at least that's my experience. You want to use a plastic hair cap after applying it. Some people will use saran wrap. That's okay too, but I like to use hair caps, and I usually use a brand new one that has the elastic hasn't been like stretched out so that you get a good fit on your hair. If you wanted to use saran wrap, that's awesome too. As far as how long you should leave the henna on, it varies depending on what, again, on what the results that you're looking to get from it. If you're just doing a conditioning treatment, 2 hours is good enough to do. Now, if you're looking more towards getting some color, aside from the conditioning and strengthening treatment, then you want to go a little longer, more towards 4 hours being the minimum that you want to leave it in. Some people leave it overnight. Now, the problem with overnight treatment is that it's been known to cause some people to urinate green. Okay, now this is because your body absorbing the henna treatment when you're leaving it over a long period of time. Excuse me. That's the reaction that some people get from leaving it too long. Now, as far as I've researched, it does not cause any type of problems like health-wise. That's just a byproduct of having it in for too long, that some people have urinated green color in your hair. A green color in their urine, sorry. I guess that's just the way of the body getting rid of that excess henna that's being intaken. Okay? Now, after the application, you want to make sure that you wash out your henna as best as you can. You want to look at your water. Your water will come out kind of an orangey color, but you want it to be just like a light orangey color. You shouldn't be seeing any deep brown coming out or anything like that. Okay, it will make a big mess in your bathtub or shower, wherever you're taking it out. So if you have your pretty curtains on, you might want to take those down so that you don't ruin them. Alright, as far as after you wash it out, some people like to shampoo. The research that I've done on the henna and all the henna sites state that you don't want to shampoo your hair with any harsh shampoos because it will kind of counteract with the benefits that you're getting from the henna. So what I do is I co-wash. Okay, I don't shampoo when I do a henna treatment. Now, that goes both ways. It kind of helps with what I just said, to not interfere with the benefits that the henna is given to your hair, but it also helps me avoid all the dryness and any kind of tangling or anything like that happens sometimes after you do a henna treatment. Henna treatment is sort of like a protein treatment, so it will sometimes leave your hair feeling kind of stripped, kind of dry, kind of hard. So co-washing kind of helps me avoid all that stripping and all that dryness that happens after the henna treatment. Now, I like to overnight deep condition after my henna treatment. Again, that helps me restore the moisture into my hair so that I avoid a lot of breakage and a lot of dryness and stuff after the henna. So what I do is I co-wash and then I deep condition. If I cannot deep condition overnight, then I at least do it for an hour or two so that I make sure that the moisture is being restored back into my hair. Now, as far as the deep conditioners, you want to make sure you use a moisturizing deep conditioner. And I'll try to avoid any protein treatments because that will kind of, make your hair drier and tougher to manage. So and add any oils that you currently use into your deep conditioners. That really helps to restore the moisture back. I do a henna treatment at least once a month. It is good to do every 2 weeks. It kind of, helps out a lot more with the color intensity if you're looking for color, and also with the strengthening is really good for you. You can do henna even once a week. Henna does not interfere at all with your hair. It doesn't cause any damage in your hair. It's completely natural. So, but since it is a labor-intensive process, I sometimes just keep it to once a month. Alright, so that's pretty much what I have for you now. Again, I am not an expert on henna whatsoever, but these are just things that have helped me in the process of doing henna, so that it's not so, I guess, gruesome and messy, and and that you get better results. Alright, so I hope this helped you out. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask them, and I'll see you next video. Bye-bye.